Bitcoin hovering around 64k on this Saturday here. Happy weekend, everyone. It is making some good moves, up 8% on the day. It certainly had a decent pump from where it was a few days ago. Is the local bottom in for Bitcoin, and is this good for the wider crypto space? We're going to talk about it in this video. Now, if you're new here for the first time, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, select all notifications, go back and watch previous videos. And of course, if you enjoyed this content and want to help us get it out to other individuals like yourself, smash up that like. We really do appreciate it. So Bitcoin recapturing 64k today. Also volume up over 22% on the 24 hours. That is very high, considering it is a weekend for a Saturday. That is very high volume. So whales seem to be buying the dip on Bitcoin, taking the opportunity. And of course, we've seen the dip running into the FOMC meeting, which we're going to talk about. And since then, things have turned a bit more positive since. Now, being reported yesterday, I believe, on CoinDesk, that was when we hit 62k, as it looked like we are starting to confirm a bounce here off the low. Correction likely over, but expect a slow grind higher. That is in the opinion of Arthur Hayes, former BitMEX CEO, of course. So he's still expecting Bitcoin to continue to range between $60,000 and $70,000, interestingly, for the next few months, which it has done certainly over the last few weeks. So he doesn't think we're going anywhere fast soon. We kind of appear to be in a little bit of a stale period at the moment, and he would not be surprised if that continues. I also would not be surprised if that continued. However, that said, there's some key levels on the charts I want to look at. That things, of course, can always change fast. There's no guarantees. Now, also yesterday, Bitcoin price springing 5% to 62k. A lot of this was based on the US jobs data boosting rate cut bets. So we know that markets had pumped quite well in early, Q1 of 24 and also, Q4 of 23. A lot of the market trying to kind of factor in expected rate cuts. Now, initially, a lot of people were betting on potentially 6 rate cuts this year. That's become very apparent that's not going to happen. Then there was more kind of a bet on, well, there'll be 3 rate cuts, and that still doesn't look like it's going to happen either. And I talked about this a lot towards the end of last year, that I thought the markets were going to the upside based on news or potential bets that were going to fail, and these rate cuts weren't going to happen. Now, we're not seeing a huge drop in the markets either. So even as these rate cuts don't happen as the months go by, the markets aren't getting worried yet, and the whales certainly aren't pulling their bags yet. Markets are still going to the upside. And we've seen a drop of the Dow Jones, which we'll take a look at the charts in this video as well. But we're not seeing a crash yet. So very interesting. The market still kind of doesn't fully know where to go at the moment. Now, positive things also for Bitcoin. We're seeing Grayscale's BTC stops the bleeding, first inflow since launch. So there'd been over $17.5 billion of outflows on Grayscale. Very different compared to the rest of the ETFs, which had seen very good inflows. But now Grayscale seeing some positive inflows also being reported. So May 3rd, they recorded $63 million in inflows. It's not a huge amount, but at least it's positive after the 17.5 billion that's gone out. But also other funds such as Franklin Templeton's Bitcoin ETF also saw its highest ever inflow with $60.9 million. So after the FOMC that we've had this week, we can see that whales are buying the dip, and that is certainly what is moving candles at the moment. Now, CNBC, of course, having their Fed meeting recap. Powell pretty much rules out a hike as the central banks move. So good news, it sounds like there's not going to be any more rate hikes. However, keep saying it again, the market is betting on rate cuts, and those rate cuts haven't come either. So is this a kind of a stagflation period? Is this going to be just a stale period where the rates are just kept moderately high, not too high, but either not being cut either, which the market is betting on? The longer that rates are not cut, though, I've talked about it time and time again. We talk about it to our members in Discord. If you want to join us in Discord, of course, link is in the description below. It's free to join. Come and join us. I mention a lot that I still think that a lot of fixed rate mortgages, people coming off those on low rates and then going on higher rates. I do think this is going to be bad for inflation. I do think that the cost of living in various countries, people are going to start to struggle, and I do think this is going to have an effect on the markets in time. So we'll see how things go. But again, I think a lot of people, if they've bet very heavily on rate cuts, then there could be some trouble to come, and that is just in my opinion. Now, taking a look at the charts, starting off, probably the last time we'll look at this, we had our Bitcoin moonshot fractal for a bit of fun. Of course, when I put this one on, I talked about it in previous videos that it was a bit of fun. We kind of ruled that one out in the middle of April, and I think by now we can see that that is not going to play out. You can see, okay, right now we're just dropping a little bit around about 63,700. Had this played out, we'd be well over $100,000, about $130,000 Bitcoin. So that one certainly not played out like the 2021 bull market. So we're not getting a super bull market this year. Again, people may have thought they looked like it was happening between sort of January and March this year. Very, very good run up. We did hit a new all-time high, so some people could make a fair point and say, well, what you're talking about, of course it was a bull market because we hit a new all-time high, but complex picture. It was just on Bitcoin. It hasn't happened for the altcoins yet, and where Bitcoin is going next, again, looks kind of hard to read in this range. Of course, if you want to win any Bitcoin or cryptocurrency of your choice, go to cryptcoms.com. You can enter competition 8 where you can win £10,000 worth of cryptocurrency. That's around $12,500. Or you can enter competition 9 where you can win £1,000 worth, and it's just £1 a ticket, £5 a ticket for the £10,000 competition. Now you can enter from absolutely anywhere worldwide. We cannot fix who wins CryptComps. The draw is done by a independent regulated third party at random, and of course there's only so many tickets. So go to cryptcomps.com. It's a skill-based competition. You have to answer a question correctly and then get your ticket, and you get entered into the draw. So good luck to the winners. It is a fantastic opportunity to win an amazing prize. Of course, any cryptocurrency that you choose, price could increase dramatically if your prize does multiple X's. Let's say you win an amount of Cardano or Solana, for instance, and then they end up doing another 5x, then your prize is going to increase by 5x if you hodl on. So go to cryptcomps.com, enter the competition, give yourself a great chance to win this awesome prize. But what we can say, talking about this range, just on the 1 hour time frame here on Bitcoin, we can see you could make an argument that we're in a slightly descending parallel channel. Again, it does look like a large bull flag if you take into account the run-in. My only problem with this potentially being a bull flag that's going to break to the upside, it is taking quite a long time here, but it is of course still possible. Now we're hitting resistance. We've had a decent bounce off the bottom, which has actually played out pretty quick, mostly Friday, yesterday, and today, but now kind of hitting this resistance. And I think if we can break through 64,800 here, I am going to say potentially, in my opinion, that the local bottom is in here around about the 56,600 area. But I want to see us get through 64,800. Higher confirmation of this will come in with a reclaim of 67,200, and of course if we broke this potential parallel channel to the upside, guys, then I think we are very much going to be in price discovery mode for Bitcoin. And you could argue that that bull market that potentially is on is more confirmed on, and we will be again looking for another new all-time high on Bitcoin. And I think a fair target, if we break again above 70,000, would be trying to target around about that $90,000 range. Now, on the downside perspective, I think if we lose 59,700 again here, I think that's going to be first real indication that we are potentially going to hit another low here, and this local bottom currently around about 56,600 is less likely to hold. We could, of course, just come down back to 59.7 and bounce off there, and then off we go. And again, if that happened, again, it's going to probably confirm this low end. So that is kind of the most key level I'm looking at, or certainly the two key levels, 64.8 and 59.7. I'm not really interested too much trading in between these levels personally. Again, I did almost take the long here down around about 56.6, but I was actually looking for a break of 56,000. So maybe I was a little bit too ambitious on that one, but that is the way things go. So well done to anyone who managed to get in long here between 56, 57, maybe 58,000. But again, you're hitting resistance now. Not financial advice, of course, but this could be an area to consider taking profits on those long trades. Now looking at total free, again, talked about holding above 457 billion. We are still comfortably above their time recording 656 billion on all of the altcoins, of course, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I still think we are in that area of resistance. We've still got that potential 5-wave count, and again, we may have completed the correction, and we could be off and rolling again. But we'll need to see a break of 700 billion again before we can start to get a bit more bullish on the rest of the altcoins. But if we kind of drop out of this resistance area again, I think these lower numbers, we are going to come back down and retest. And there's certain altcoins that probably done better than others. I don't necessarily think they're going to be the ones that bleed the most. They may still hold up better than others, but we could potentially see lower lows in the market on some altcoins, in my opinion, if we get down here, and especially if we were talking, Bitcoin losing 50,000 for instance. Now, another problem for the markets turning bullish at the moment. Still at the moment, the DXY is still showing some strength, in my opinion. Yes, it has pulled back and corrected quite nicely the last 2 days, but again, key week on the DXY next week. I've got this 102, around about 102.4. If that breaks, then we're probably going lower, and then things will be looking bullish. However, if we can hold here, continuing to set higher lows, then the key target really is this 107.30, which was the high back in September. If that's taken out on the DXY, I do think these markets could be potentially in trouble, and maybe we will start to see the confirmation of some top formations on the likes of the S&P 500 and Dow Jones. Now, talking about the Dow Jones, it did have a nice gap to the upside again, but it did actually close down on it, so it lost some of its gains that it made on Friday. 39,900 we know is the area we've got to take out to set new all-time highs. I was looking for us to drop back down to 37,700. We virtually got exactly where I was expecting us to get on the 19th, so it actually happened a bit quicker than I thought would play out. But I do think if that breaks again, then we're looking at targets around about 35,000 and a deeper correction, and that would still be a healthy correction, in my opinion, if you consider where we came from, pretty much in a straight line up from 32,300 area since October. So it was a hell of a pump in Q4 23 and Q1 of 24, and yeah, I think it's reasonable to expect a deeper correction here if this top is formed and confirmed. And like I said, I think that will come in with the DXY. So hope you've enjoyed the content, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.